Hey everyone, welcome to Can't Afford to Record, the YouTube channel where we figure out the art of audio production together. And lately I've been listening to quite a lot of punk rock music, so today is all about a track that's punk rock, or at least my attempt at punk rock. Now of course I purchase audio mixing courses, I speak with different audio communities on Facebook and whatnot, and I send my mixes off to friends and get feedback on it so I can improve, but I also like to take lessons as well. I actually teach a lot of guitar and it's the same sort of thing, if you have a lot of questions you can't really ask that to a YouTube video or to an online course sometimes, so sometimes it's nice to actually interact with another human being. I know it's 2020, I know that's hard to do sometimes. Ask these questions, get some helpful tips, get some validation in what you're doing. Sometimes you're just wondering if you're doing the right thing, and you are. So sometimes it's nice just to hear that you are doing the right thing. So lately I reached out to my friend Corey Bergeron, and if you haven't subscribed to Corey's YouTube channel, go and check it out, and you can also join his Patreon and download audio stems of mixes and follow along with what he's doing, and also he offers one-to-one sessions like what I've done, and yeah, just go and check it out. It's all good stuff. Now, Corey is no stranger to mixing punk rock, and so I had some questions and he gave me some really wonderful tips. I'm not going to go through the whole entire track because I want to do my best not to make this a super long video, although they usually end up being quite long, but just to show you some highlights, some things that really stood out to me, some real big takeaway moments I think is important to share. So that's what we can do, but I think we need to jump into the track. I've been talking long enough. So here is my little punk rock track. Enjoy. There you go, you heard the track. The two things I'm going to try and focus on today is bass and guitars. So I reached out to Corey because I wanted to get a better low-end foundation. Sometimes it's up and down, it pokes out, it doesn't really feel very good to me, and so I got some great tips from Corey on that. And then also guitars, I did try something a little special and I want to share that with you today as well. Good chance that I will leave out some important things. I hope I don't, but if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below and hopefully I can answer them for you. So let's have a look at what's happening on bass guitars. All right, so I'm sure many of you are familiar with splitting the frequencies, and that's what I did with this. Before I did any of that, I'll show you. If I sort of solo this track and I'll turn everything off, I added a bass amp simulator. This is one of Logic's, and this is what it is. This is what it is without the amp sim. And then with the amp sim, so I was just trying to find that roundness, and I think that does pretty well. I actually didn't change anything. I think I just, yep, that's the one. Okay, we're good. Then I've got the purple audio from Plugin Alliance 1176. I think I actually could have compressed more. I think I could have done more gain reduction on this. I'm really only doing about 3 dB at the most. 5. I think I could have done about 10. And then I've got the L1 limiter, and this is a really cool moment that I learned from Corey, and that is we are just pinning this bass guitar down. We do not want it sticking out, and the compression of the 1176 is rounding off those peaks, and then we're just bringing it all down. So that's basically what's happening here. We're pinning down that bass guitar, and this is what it sounds like. There's a little bit of a volume increase there. I don't know why I did that, but we'll leave it for now because that's what I did. And then we are doing that frequency split. And I'm doing this at about 260. Let's hear what it sounds like before and after. So basically, that bass isn't going anywhere. Let's move on to the high signal. Now, I just copy and pasted the same track across, and let's have a listen to what's going on here. And again, I'll turn all this off. Great plugin Corey turned me on to. It's basically a Sans amp clone. I know Pro Tools comes with its own Sans amp, and I don't have Pro Tools, obviously. So this is the next best thing, and it's a nice sound. So let's listen to what it sounds like before and after. So that's it with it on, and then I am doing the same exact 1176 settings as on the low frequency. So this is what it sounds like. Again, I probably could have done a little bit more, but hey, we'll leave it as it is. So when we are doing these frequencies, number one is basically rolling off at about 806, which is basically not giving me any more than 3K. So now this is what it does to the signal. But when we mix it in with that low frequency track, we're going to get this. Now, obviously, it's all taste, all subjective, but yeah, kind of a Blink-182 sound, I think. You might want to change it for what you think it should be like. Okay, so for guitars, I was thinking I could plug into my Amp 1 by Blue Guitar. I use it all the time. You've seen in my other videos if you've seen any of those. And I could mic up my cab. Could definitely do that. I could also just take the record out of my Amp 1 and use that because it's got a great speaker simulator on it. I could also take the speaker out and put on an impulse response. Very easy, and I do that all the time as well. But this week I thought I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to use an amp sim. So I went for the STL Emissary. I've had this downloaded for a while, but never really used it. It's a very, very high gain amp. I thought I'm going to make it work. It's free. If you haven't downloaded this amp sim, go and check it out. You can get it absolutely free. So the guitars on this are straight from this plugin, literally plugged into my interface, and then I slap on the Emissary, and that's it. So this is what it is, and it's wonderful. And then I am going through also Ignite NAD IR, is that what they call it? NAD IR, same company, STL Tones, and I'm putting on a Celestion impulse response, vintage 30, SM57. You're going to hear this is only coming out the left, but let's listen to it for a second. You'll see that I've got another EQ here, and I found a frequency that I didn't like. This is a big deal. I'm also high passing and doing it the same on the other end, just cutting out the areas and the frequencies I do not want. This is the sound that I got rid of. So I don't know if you can hear it there. It's kind of got this sort of weird quacky sort of sound to it. Got rid of that. And then I'm basically doing the same on this channel as well. I just copied the same track across, and let's see what I did here. I changed a couple of the amp settings just to make it sound a little bit different. I'm still taking out that signal there. I didn't want that in there. and I'm probably using a different impulse response. Yeah, I am. I'm using a bright on the other channel, and this one I'm using the fat Celestion IR. And then lastly, on these two channels, I'll see if I can explain this in any kind of elegant way. So I'm taking out about 1.6K, about 3 dB of that. And that is all I'm doing, I think. And the reason why I'm taking that out is because I boost that frequency in the lead guitar sound. So I thought, let's make some more space for it. A whole load of stuff going on there. Oh boy. Okay, that gets automated. So when the lead guitar sound comes in for real around about here, these go on and they just duck out that frequency a little bit. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to do, but it made sense to me and I think it sounded good, so that's what I did. Hard left, hard right. I don't think there's anything else to explain about that. On the summed guitar track here, I'm just doing, I'm just rolling off a little bit of the top end, and that's it. And then the lead guitar, well, there's a whole lot going on here. Again, I'm using the Emissary, again, amp sim, it's all that. And then I'm using a balanced Celestion IR, so again, a little bit different to the other two rhythm tracks. The REQ, this is just to high pass and low pass. Nothing else going on there, so that's cool. And then this is where I boosted that 1.6K by about 4.5 dB. The reason I did this, and I really like the SSL channel strip to do this, I don't know why, I think it just sounds really good, is just to thicken it up a little bit. Let me just play you what I mean by that. I think it just thickens it up, makes it poke out in a good way, and I really like this channel strip to do that. Then I'm using the H delay, getting some stereo ping pong vibes. Wow, that is a way to explain it, isn't it? I've got the PS22. What a name. Waves. Yeah, it's just, I guess, making it a little bit wider. Okay, so takeaways and my summary of mixing this little punk rock song. Splitting the bass frequencies, man, I know it seems so elementary to maybe many of you, but for me, that's still a really big deal. It's a nice way to balance that real pinned down low foundation and then that sort of gritty, sparkly top end, which you can customize to whatever your preference is. I obviously went for a little bit more of a gritty kind of sound on this track, but then doing that at about 800, so you're leaving a whole load of space in the middle. And again, that isn't for everyone. Depending on the style and genre, you might want a lot more mids in there, and so totally cool, but that's something I tried. I like what it did. Guitars, again, being brave with high passing and low passing the guitars a little bit more drastically than I usually would, but I've started to really realize, and I know I've said it before, but I really realize how much space that gives you. So definitely enjoy doing that now. And then pulling out the frequencies I didn't like. The biggest thing I learned about this, and Corey told me this, he was like, go and find some frequencies that you don't like, remove them, maybe look for one or two more, but that's it, because you will always find more. And it's so true. I was just fine. I don't like that one. Nope. Don't like that one. Nope. Yeah, do that a couple of times, but I guess if you do it too much, then you have no signal or track in the end. And then the last thing I just want to share with you, the mix that you've heard is my 6th revision of it. And that's me for the past couple of days, just, you know, little and often working on this track, bouncing it. How does it sound? Okay, I want to change this. Bouncing the track. How does it sound? Send it to a friend, get some feedback. That kind of thing. I have really started listening to the tracks on different headphones and devices. Apple earbuds, still use these. Very harsh sounding, but you know, I quite like that actually. I also have some Bluetooth earbuds, which aren't the world's best quality, and they're very, very low end, hyped, but I think that's also good because that's kind of the opposite of these Apple earbuds. So that's the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure this has gone on for far too long, and if you've made it to the end, thank you so much for sticking with me. I always enjoy doing this kind of stuff because I learn so much, and talking about it really sort of, yeah, it just reinforces what I'm doing, and it's always a good thing. It's like writing down the little tips and tricks that you learn along the way. journaling stuff. I'm doing the same, but just in video form. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying following what I'm learning about. I think that's about it for today. If you like today's video, you might want to consider leaving me a thumbs up. And hey, if you like it more than that, you might want to consider subscribing right here on Can't Afford to Record. We'd be pleased to have you here. And until next time, I'll see you soon.